Clinical trial transparency is a crucial aspect of modern medical research. It ensures that information about clinical studies, including their design, methods, and results, is accessible to the public, healthcare professionals, and researchers. This openness helps build trust in the scientific process and allows for better decision-making in healthcare. In this video, we'll explore why transparency in clinical trials is so important, how it impacts patients and the medical community, and what steps are being taken to improve it. Let's begin by understanding what clinical trial transparency really means. Clinical trials are research studies that test new medical treatments, drugs, or devices in people. They are essential for determining whether new interventions are safe and effective. These trials follow strict protocols and are conducted in phases, starting with small groups and expanding to larger populations. The data collected from clinical trials forms the foundation for medical advancement. However, without transparency, the value of this data can be compromised, leading to incomplete or biased information being shared with the public. Transparency in clinical trials is needed to ensure that all results, whether positive or negative, are available for review. This openness prevents selective reporting, where only favorable outcomes are published, and helps avoid duplication of research efforts. By sharing complete data, researchers can build on previous work, and healthcare providers can make informed decisions for their patients. Ultimately, transparency protects patient safety and promotes scientific integrity. Historically, clinical trial data was often kept confidential, with only successful results being published. This lack of transparency led to situations where ineffective or even harmful treatments were used longer than they should have been. Over time, the medical community recognized the need for greater openness to prevent such issues. Today, transparency is seen as a fundamental ethical responsibility in clinical research. Ethics play a major role in clinical trial transparency. Participants in clinical trials volunteer their time and sometimes take on risks to help advance medical knowledge. They deserve to know that their contributions are valued and that the results will be shared openly. Transparency honors their commitment and ensures that the benefits of research are maximized for society. Many countries now have regulations that require clinical trial results to be registered and reported in public databases. These rules are designed to increase accountability and make sure that all data, not just positive findings, are accessible. Regulatory bodies like the FDA and EMA play a key role in enforcing these standards, helping to ensure that transparency is not just encouraged but required. Public registries like and the EU Clinical Trials Register provide open access to information about ongoing and completed studies. These platforms allow anyone to search for trials, review protocols, and see results. By making this information available, registries help prevent duplication, promote collaboration, and empower patients to learn about research opportunities. Data sharing initiatives encourage researchers to make their trial data available to others. This can include sharing raw data sets, protocols, and analysis plans. Such initiatives foster collaboration, accelerate scientific discovery, and allow for independent verification of results. They also help address concerns about reproducibility in science. Transparency in clinical trials directly benefits patients. When results are openly shared, patients and their doctors can make better informed choices about treatment options. It also helps patients understand the risks and benefits of participating in research. Ultimately, transparency builds trust between the medical community and the public. When clinical trial data is transparent, the overall quality of research improves. Other scientists can review and critique findings, which leads to stronger evidence and more reliable conclusions. Transparency also helps identify errors or biases, making the scientific process more robust and trustworthy. Publication bias occurs when only positive or significant results are published, while negative or inconclusive findings are hidden. Transparency helps combat this by ensuring that all results, regardless of outcome, are made public. This gives a more accurate picture of a treatment's effectiveness and safety. Evidence-based medicine relies on the best available data to guide clinical decisions. Transparent clinical trials provide the comprehensive information needed for doctors to recommend treatments that are truly effective. This approach leads to better patient outcomes and more efficient use of healthcare resources. Pharmaceutical companies and medical device manufacturers have a responsibility to ensure transparency in their clinical trials. By openly sharing data, these organizations demonstrate their commitment to ethical research and public health. Transparent practices also help maintain their credibility and reputation. Scientific journals play a key role in promoting transparency by requiring authors to disclose all relevant trial data. Many journals now mandate trial registration and data sharing as a condition for publication. This helps ensure that published research is complete and trustworthy. Patient advocacy groups often push for greater transparency in clinical trials. They represent the interests of patients and their families, calling for open access to trial information and results. Their efforts help ensure that patient voices are heard and that research serves the needs of those it aims to help. International organizations like the World Health Organization (WHO) have developed guidelines to promote clinical trial transparency worldwide. These standards encourage countries to adopt consistent practices, making it easier to compare and combine data from different regions. Global cooperation is essential for advancing medical research. Transparency doesn't just benefit patients and researchers, it also drives innovation. When data is openly shared, new ideas can emerge more quickly, and researchers can build on each other's work. This collaborative environment accelerates the development of new treatments and technologies. Despite progress, there are still barriers to full transparency in clinical trials. These include concerns about patient privacy, intellectual property, and the resources needed to share data. Addressing these challenges requires cooperation between researchers, regulators, and industry. One of the main concerns with transparency is protecting the privacy of trial participants. Data must be shared in ways that prevent individuals from being identified. This often involves removing personal information and using secure platforms for data sharing. Achieving transparency in clinical trials means finding the right balance between openness and security. While it's important to share data, it's equally important to protect sensitive information. Effective policies and technologies can help maintain this balance. Advances in technology are making it easier to share clinical trial data securely. Digital platforms, encryption, and data management tools help researchers distribute information while maintaining privacy. Technology also enables better tracking and analysis of trial results. Transparency should begin early in the clinical trial process. Registering trials before they start and sharing protocols helps prevent selective reporting and ensures that all planned outcomes are tracked. Early transparency sets the stage for trustworthy research. Once a trial is completed, it's essential to report all results, not just the positive ones. Comprehensive reporting helps the medical community understand the true effects of treatments and prevents misleading conclusions. Transparency in reporting is a cornerstone of scientific integrity. Trust is the foundation of the relationship between researchers, patients, and the public. Transparent clinical trials demonstrate honesty and accountability, which are essential for maintaining trust. When people trust the research process, they are more likely to participate in studies and support medical progress. Transparent clinical trials contribute to better public health outcomes. When data is openly available, health authorities can make informed decisions about approving new treatments and managing health crises. Transparency ensures that public health policies are based on the best available evidence. During global health emergencies such as pandemics, transparency in clinical trials becomes even more critical. Rapid sharing of trial data allows for faster development of treatments and vaccines and helps coordinate international responses. Openness can save lives in urgent situations. Funding agencies increasingly require transparency as a condition for supporting clinical trials. By making data sharing a requirement, funders help ensure that research investments lead to meaningful and accessible results. This approach maximizes the impact of public and private funding. Transparency in clinical trials also supports education. Students, healthcare professionals, and the public can learn from openly available data, improving their understanding of medical research. Educational initiatives often use real trial data to teach research methods and critical thinking. Future of clinical trial transparency looks promising, with ongoing efforts to improve data sharing, reporting, and public access. New technologies and policies are making it easier to share information while protecting privacy. Continued commitment from all stakeholders will help ensure that transparency remains a priority. In summary, clinical trial transparency is essential for advancing medical science, protecting patients, and building public trust. By making data openly available, we can ensure that research is ethical, reliable, and beneficial for all. As we move forward, continued efforts to promote transparency will help create a healthier, more informed world.